Hello, you're watching InsanityG96 and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now, as you can see, I'm filming in a different place yet again. I'm back home and this is what I like to call my library/study area. And I realise I actually feel really comfortable filming in here because all of my books are in here. I spend a lot of time in this room actually because it's where I'm revising for my degree. There are a lot of pop vinyls in here, so yeah, this is like my little nerdy room in the house. Now, I know I said on my social media I'm going to be reviewing a comic series next, and I'm going to film that right after this because I'm not going to have time to for the rest of the week. But I thought I'd upload a review of this first, The City of Fallen Angels by Cassandra Clare, because I've just finished reading it and there's actually quite a lot I'd like to get off my chest about this book. This is the fourth book in the Mortal Instrument series. I don't know if you can see behind me, but there are a couple there on the shelf. And if you hadn't read the first three books, then I really suggest you go back and you read them, because lots of the book won't make sense. And even though I know Cassandra Clare intended this for it to be its own separate trilogy, it doesn't work. You need to read the third book at least. Now, I know I haven't reviewed the first 1 to 3 books of this series. That's because I didn't have a YouTube account at the time and I really couldn't be bothered to go over and reread the books. I'd rather spend my time reading something new. So if you want, I'll leave a link in the description below of my Goodreads account where you can go and see my written reviews of those. But this picks off right after the third one, after the big giant event of the third book. And I don't want to give any spoilers away, but if you've read this, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And I have a very unpopular opinion about this book. I feel it is a filler book for the next two in the series, because to be honest, not a lot happened until the last couple of chapters. Basically what's happened is Clary is back in New York, she's back with Jace, they're now officially together. Simon has a love triangle that turns into like a love square. Magnus and Alec are all loved up. It's a lot of romance, and to be honest, I don't like romantic books, so when I started to read this, the first couple of chapters actually made me feel a little bit sick. I fell in love with this series because of how much fighting was in there, all like the mythology, the angels and demons and the religious themes that were in the first 3 books. And there just really wasn't much in this one. It was more to do with love and romance until the last like 5 chapters, and then I started to really get into it because something massive happens at the end, which will obviously lead to the next 2 books to develop it further. It is something to do with Jace, that's all I'm willing to say. But I think I was willing to put up with this book just to get to those last couple of chapters, because then my interest was spiked again. So, what do I love about this book? Well, first off, I absolutely love the world that the author has set. It appeals to me completely because I'm into crystals and healing, and this is very much a fantasy world. And I would quite like to actually live into this world and be a shadow hunter and be completely, you know, like Isabel. I love Isabel. But I also love all the other mythical stuff that she's included, like all the fairy and the warlocks and all that. I really like the character development with one person in particular, and that is the character of Simon, who is Clary's best friend and who was recently turned into a vampire. For me, his storyline was the best bit of this book because this book kind of all centralises around Simon. Even though Clary likes to poke her nose in quite a lot, even though I think she's a bit of a crappy best friend because she's more interested in her up and down relationship with the moody, yes, he's returned, Jace. And why do I like Simon so much? Well, I think Cassandra has done a real good job of making him extremely humane and relatable. We see the struggles that he comes to terms with, him being a vampire. We see him struggle to explain to his mother how all that goes, and my heart honestly did break a little bit with those scenes. That was quite a hard read. Okay, so I'm just going to go straight in what I didn't like about this book, and unfortunately, there's a lot. First of all, Cassandra, Clary. We need to talk about Clary, okay? I don't know where you were trying to head with this character. She is the lead character, arguably. Now, you try and make her into a strong feminist leading role, which is great. I completely understand that. All power to women. That's brilliant. That's what I want to read about. But in this book, you've made her a soppy teenager consumed by her love for Jace, which is frankly unreasonable and slightly offensive, because you went with this character who doesn't depend on anyone, yet she's completely dependent on Jace and if he loves her or not. Now, I understand there needs to be teenage romance in a young adult book, but everyone paid up, and reading it, it was like, yeah, no, this doesn't do it for me. I want to see fighting and I want to see blood. So please make Clary better, because she's way too dependent on Jace, and unfortunately that's not realistic and it's not something that I can relate with. There's an obvious thing. Where was the plot in the first 3/4 of the book? There was no plot. Definitely not enough Magnus Bane. He is without a doubt my favourite character in this world, and I know he's got his own book, but there just wasn't enough Magnus in there for me. I need my Magnus. Also, what did you do to Isabel? Now, Isabel is my favourite female character because Clary is a bit of a wet cloth. Isabel is strong. Isabel should be the lead character because she is strong, she is fearless, she is completely about women, modern women of this age should be fighting for, okay? She is strong and she isn't dependent on anyone. Yet you've turned her into a quivering mess, basically. You've turned her into Clary. Please, we need a strong female role or a female lead in this book, so women and girls of this age won't be dependent on boys or their boyfriends. We need them to be dependent for themselves. Saying all that and the many bad points of this book, I read it in, I think it was less than a week, because there's something about her style of writing that I love. And as poor as the plot was in the first half of the book, her writing style is amazing. And it does make you want to read more, even if it is a bit droll. So, great writing style, and I love the different points of views. Simon, definitely my favourite, and it really does help you connect with those characters more. Unfortunately, I couldn't connect with Clary at all because, yeah, no. So I am going to keep in mind that this was a bit of a filler book, and I am excited to start reading the rest of the series and to start the Infernal Devices. I know there's lots of crossovers, and I did just purchase her recent book here, so I am going to carry on with it. I know it's going to get better. It can't get worse than this, it really can't. I'm going to give this 1 Sparkly Warlock out of 5, and I think that might be quite generous actually. Started reading this, The Taxidermist's Daughter by Kate Moss. Started reading it yesterday. Started reading it in the night, which was a bit of a mistake because it's a bit spooky. So this is probably what I'm going to review next. I'm also going to do another Twitter poll soon, so make sure you follow me on Twitter at InsanityG96 so you guys can decide what I should read next. Today I also set up a separate Instagram account from my personal one, the one where all pictures of my face are. It's at InsanityG96, I'll leave a link below. And it's basically all arty pictures of the books I've read. There's something about scrolling through Tumblr or Instagram and seeing these people with really creative ideas on how to present the books that they're reading. And it's something that makes me feel really calm. And it takes me to another place, and I love the thought of being able to do that and maybe being able to portray how I experience these books through my eyes so other people can experience it in a similar way. If you've read City of Fallen Angels, then please comment on what you thought below. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, help me find some other good points of this book. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, whatever you feel like doing. I do try and do videos regularly, although it is quite hard with a law degree and how thick the books are. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye!